I want to start by saying that I'm disappointed that Governor Torres chose not to come and appear before us today. I'm disappointed with all the bravado, all the machismo, all the talk, all the chest pumping that he has nothing to hide, and saying that they haven't called me. They haven't called me in. And then we did. We were very generous and understanding. And this body, led by our chairwoman, Selena Roberto Babalta, has been kind to and civil to everyone that has shown up, all our witnesses. Look no further at the tape, the live broadcasts, how we were civil. And the craziest thing about this whole long and lengthy process is that we've heard it's taking too long. As if that somehow, some way, we were at fault for doing the people's work. But the stalling, the gamesmanship, the different tactics that were used, that wasn't created by the chairwoman nor this body. It was created by the governor. The witnesses, which were surprising, were told time and time again by our chairwoman repeatedly that you were not the subject of this investigation, that you were here to give us some answers to our investigation of the governor. Yet each of them would come with an attorney, as if somehow, of course it is their right, but as if somehow we are trying to go after them. And that just was not the case. In fact, from my recollection, the only witness that appeared without an attorney was Lieutenant Governor Arnold Palacios, who came and spoke from his heart and spoke the truth. If every single witness had done that, this would have been expedient and probably a lot faster, this process. But it was dragged on for different reasons, not attributed to this committee. Madam Chair and colleagues, and those who are watching, I want to remind you of something that was told to me and I keep close to my heart. It is that public service requires sacrifice. We make sacrifices all the time, by salary alone. We have a governor who makes $120,000 a year, 4 times the salary that any of us make. He also has incredible benefits and entitlements, as Representative Tina Sablan had mentioned with regard to CUC. Some bills that are as high as $16,000 a month. Something that does not work well in a commonwealth where over half of our people are indigent, are poor, are considered poor along federal poverty guidelines, is when a politician enriches him or herself. And I don't see how that is possible when you are a public servant. How do you become rich in politics? But even with all that money that the governor may have, he still chose to get $200,000 worth of attorneys on taxpayer dime. Why would somebody that has nothing to hide, who feels that he can come in and speak to us, just like he did on KKMP with Gary Sword, need $200,000 worth of attorneys? And even with such powerful and well-paid attorneys, still does not come in today $200,000 worth of attorneys, and he couldn't even show up to tell us why he won't speak to this body. Speaking on a radio show with questions that are already prepared for him is not the same as him coming in and answering the questions that this body has. Only he can answer those questions. Madam Chair, colleagues, the suffering continues in the Commonwealth, as each and every one of us knows. My colleagues, all of you know the calls that we get on a daily basis. There are many who still haven't gotten PUA. There are also those who weren't eligible for PUA and SARA and other things. The governor needed to govern, but instead he took advantage of his position. We have $500 million that was given to us in ARPA funding. And this body tried to utilize that money to ensure that it was going to be spent properly, to ensure that that money was appropriated. Unfortunately, that bill, sponsored by Chairman of Ways and Means, Donald Manglonia, and several of us, did not pass the Senate. It was killed. I wish it had. Because, Madam Chair and colleagues, something that has not really been brought up during this investigation is what is being used with this money. Now, this may not be part of this investigation, but it is a concern. We have seen companies that have enriched themselves, have made a ton of money with the governor's approval, while the rest of our people suffer. We've seen a governor who feels it's okay to have a piggery, a large piggery, by the way, since November of 2015, and have taxpayers pay for it, to fund it, a commercial piggery. And that includes all of his lavish trips, which he was warned about. And if the governor is to come here or later on say that he knew nothing about it, would that really be truthful? Well, we won't know because we don't have him coming in to answer our questions, unfortunately. All of our questions. I am frustrated. I am tired of the doublespeak. And this body has done its very best to get to the truth of all of these matters. Madam Chair, colleagues, I appreciate, and also counsel, our legislative assistants, I cannot forget our counsels. I almost feel like we are underdogs because we lack, in comparison, the resources that the governor has. But when you're doing the people's work, I don't feel we're the underdog. I feel we're doing the work of the people, and we will continue to do so together. There's been many times that the governor could have reached out to us, and he chose not to. I yield at this point, Madam Chair and colleagues, and I thank you for allowing me this time to speak.